Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Paul, would you mind introducing?
Yes, okay. So hello everyone, guys. It seems like we don't have too many students today. It is our third Q&A session. I'm here today with Ming. My name is Paul. We are both Pauls, and we are happy today to answer uh, pretty much any questions related to PAW or like any academic writing, academic advising, anything. We are also um, interested in hearing your own like experiences with academic writing, um, maybe your personal thoughts about the first assignments you had or like any other
Hmm.
uh, classes or academic papers you've done. So yeah, don't hesitate. Just you can ask questions in chat or you can unmute yourself and just ask them in the voice chat directly to us. So yeah.
Yeah. So, how was everyone's first draft? How was your not first draft? How was your first essay, cause and effect essay? How did it go? Any issues that you find? Please don't be shy to speak up, or if you want to, you can type in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, it was okay. Erica said it was okay. Any major issues that you find? Any major difficulty? Mm, no. Okay. Um, how about others? Do you have? Okay, for Erica, there seems to be
Not
not.
really much. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Despite of proofreading after submitting the essay, I found few errors. Okay. Okay. So Zaman still had some few errors. What were these errors about, Zaman? Were they like vocabulary, grammar, ideas? What are they?
Punctuation. Okay.
Ah, okay, punctuation.
Yeah. A very popular topic, I would say. So
Yeah, that's right. So would you say, Zaman, punctuation in is it punctuation in your reference list or punctuation within your essay? Because I found that there's a lot of students tend to have punctuation errors in their reference list.
both.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. How about others? Is there anyone else that wants to share? Siluni or Chiosna? Oh, sorry if I chop up your name. Uh,
And also like covering the topic of punctuation, I think we can just go ahead maybe and share some of the resources we have, like
yeah,
some
maybe.
previous
Yeah,
projects we did.
I think that's a good idea, Paul. Um,
Yeah,
could you share the punctuation?
definitely. I'm gonna send a link in chat. This is basically only one of our Paul-made resources. This one is particularly about mechanics of punctuation in the sentences. So you might just as well save the link, look at it whenever you want to,
Mm,
and maybe it will be helpful for you in your future essays or like any future
yeah.
assignments.
You can share screen, Paul, and then walk them through a little bit if you want to. Also, I think that's really helpful.
Uh, Definitely. Just give me a second. Okay, so here it is. Mechanics of punctuation, specifically comma usage here. So first of all, we have three types of sentences here: simple sentences, then compound and complex sentences. So in simple sentences, as you can see here, we have a transition word and then an independent clause. And this like transition word should be separated from the independent clause by a comma. And here are all the examples of transition words. So if you just look at this, um, if you look at this poster later, you can simply identify whatever transition word you are using and if you need to put a comma there or not. And same thing is with the compound and complex sentences. In compound sentences, we have coordinating conjunctions, which are and, but, for, or, nar, so, and yet. And basically, whenever you see any of those, you need to put a comma before that conjunction. And in complex sentences, there are subordinating conjunctions, which are because, before, since, while, although, if, until, when, after, as, and as if. And here we actually have two different types of and structures of the sentences where sometimes the subordinating conjunction comes first. In that case, we need to put a comma right at the end of that dependent clause before independent clause. But if dependent clause comes after an independent clause, then we don't need to put any comma here. And we just write the subordinating conjunction without separating it from the previous clause we are using. So yeah, a very quick guide, very helpful poster, I think. So don't be shy to save the link and use it at any moment later.
Yeah, I really agree with Paul. And for reference list, I would suggest you, if it's possible for your computer, you can set up your paper on one side. You can split the screen and set up your paper on one side, and then the refer and then the page, the Purdue Owl website on the other side, so that when you can compare eye to eye, you can compare at the same time if your reference list is um, if your the sources of your reference list is correct with the format from Purdue Owl. I think that's a way I usually do it, but maybe if it's not possible for your computer, you can go the traditional way. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Formatting of like the reference lists are very challenging, especially at the very beginning of your study. So yeah,
Hmm. That's right. Um, so yeah, any other major issues aside from punctuation?
yeah, guys, and we don't need to like focus on anything in particular here. So if you just want to ask any question you are interested in regarding to the academic
Hmm.
um, assignments, you can just go ahead and ask that one.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so someone just asked about looking for sources that match the topic. Okay,
Mm.
that's an interesting question. So I think what you mean to ask is that one, right? So how can you find sources more effectively that match your topic? Paul, any advice?
Definitely, there is a couple of good advice. I would say, first of all, I think keywords are a very important tool to do so. So when you are starting from your like outline or anything else, it is very important to identify very specifically what particular like area or sub themes you will be talking about, and always remember that your topic shouldn't be too general or too specific, because otherwise it would be very hard for you to find the right sources for your paper. So always try to keep that good balance with specific and general. And then once you got that all set up and you think your like topic idea is good balanced, you can just go ahead and try to come up with certain keywords you can use as, let's say, to describe the main ideas of your essay. And then using those keywords, you can try to search for the necessary sources on the databases, Google Scholar or other ones you need. And I think in the most cases, you will be able to find the very good ones
Yeah.
there.
So another tip, if you still find difficulties in searching for your sources, you can try synonyms, I would say. Instead of, for example, if you are doing a cause and effect, I said instead of using the word effect, maybe try another word like impact, words like that. You can try synonyms that will give you more results. Uh, and like Paul, I will agree with Paul when it comes to searching for sub themes for instead of searching for something that's really general. You should really focus on the smaller topics within your essay and maybe get some ideas and maybe search for that instead of searching for the whole big topic. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I want to add, like, on the whole topic of sources, next Wednesday, on November 24th, we'll be actually having another workshop, particularly talking about CRAP test and finding sources. So if you are interested in that, you should definitely come. The announcement, I think, will be published later on POTI, but the main key areas we will cover there is basically how to identify which sources are good or bad, and most efficient ways to find your sources, check them, and check their credibility, and also how to apply all that information into the ARL assignments
Mhm.
in your papers. So yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely consider coming.
you guys spread the word. Really helpful workshop. So aside from Zaman, anyone else that wants to share their experience with writing, or um, is there anything that you want to accomplish with your maybe your second essay, which is argumentative essay, right? Have your class gone to that stage yet, or yeah? Sometimes you find the right source, but then it requires to be paid. What do I do in that
Mm,
case? Yeah, that happens a lot. Um,
yeah.
so my advice would be, okay, Zaman, let me ask you this. You're still in your home country, right? You're not in Japan yet? Because if you're in Japan, oh, you're in Japan. I think if you're in Japan, then you can definitely come to campus. Uh, you go if you go to okay, if you go to campus, then if you use the campus Wi-Fi, you can access most of the sources you need. Yeah, and if you still can't find those sources for free, you can go back to normal Google, type in the name of the name of the research paper or the source that you want to read, type in the name. And then because some websites do actually like curate that content, they republish that content. So maybe sometimes it's available. Um, but yeah. those are my two tips for you. Any other tips, Paul?
I remember that last year, I think, there was a specific um, links on the POTI page, right? Where
Yeah,
you have several logins and passwords for
that's
certain
right. That's right.
databases.
That's right. There are certain logins and passwords if you want to go to those resource. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have like troubles with the um, like paid sources, definitely check POTI out. Maybe like library in there, and there should be a specific
That's right.
links.
So if you go into Polte, then at the bottom of it's usually on the left hand side at the very bottom, there's the OPAC library, OPAC library. And if you go in there, you would find some document that says uh, about the login information that will help you maybe gain access to those resources. Okay, we have another question from Siluni. Okay, we have a question from Chios. Chios. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name. But it's basically, do you think if we can give you some tips for your second essay because it is a little different from your first one? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Uh-huh.
Definitely. Just to clarify, your second essay should be argumentative, and your first one was cause and effect. Is that right? Okay.
Okay.
So some tips about the argumentative essay.
Yeah.
Ming.
So my biggest tip for the argumentative essay, and I think this is something that a lot of students uh, face when writing this type of essay, is that they're not argumentative enough. So sometimes it's really easy to get mistaken between argumentative and cause and effects in a way. Um, so maybe I think one tip is that you need to really be really clear with your argument. Find out what your argument is, what's the thing that you're arguing for, and base your ideas on that argument. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
any other tips, Paul?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ming. You should at the beginning very particular specify your stance, and then when it comes to the argument, to make them very efficient, I think try to make them not as general, search for not the general information, not the just statements, but uh, try to find as much like statistical information, like different data, numbers that can efficiently support your argument, and then your stance becomes even stronger in that case. And also the main like key difference of the argumentative essay is the refutation paragraph, right? Where you actually need to state the very, let's say, popular idea of the other side, and then again like refute it with your own arguments.
Mm.
So when you are writing your refutation paragraph, I would say always try to find the most popular um, idea from the other side. And in that case, if you will be able to refute and counter argument the most popular idea from the other side, you already win that argument. So if you are able to do so, you're like your refutation paragraph becomes very, very strong and efficient.
Yeah. And earlier when I said be clear with your argument, um, I would definitely avoid using words like my opinion. You still want it to be a little bit more on the academic side and still argumentative, right? So yeah, that's another tip for you.
Yeah, definitely, no problem. Okay. Are there any other questions, concerns, anything?
Yeah, if you have any other concerns, please feel free to talk to us. Or if it's a really specific concern, you can really book a pause session with us. Yeah. Okay. We have another question: How to improve academic voice in writing? Okay, that's a really good question. Improving not just your voice, but academic voice. Okay. Um, where do we start, Paul? My biggest tip, I mean, not my biggest tip, but one thing that I think you should avoid doing when trying to find your academic voice is overusing synonyms.
Mm,
Um, because agreeably, there are synonyms that make your there are words that make your paper a little bit more academic, but sometimes synonyms work in only a few cases. They're not like universally applicable to every word you use. So you might want to avoid that. Oh, that's my first advice. Anything from you, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. To improve your academic voice, I would say the biggest difficulty is how to go from like the first person to the third person, right? So be careful about that. Always try to make your academic paper in the third person. And then in terms of the overall improvement, I think um, if you generally try in like every paper you're writing to follow um, all the instructions of the Texas format, right? Um, where you need to state specific areas. Um, I think that will by just practicing doing that, it will immensely improve your academic voice, because when you will be able to efficiently like support the whole paragraph with examples, explanation, and then analysis of those arguments, it will definitely help you to improve your academic voice, because then you will apply, let's say, your critical thinking in the analysis part or explanation part, and you will be able to understand the whole text more deeply and state your ideas more, let's say, clearly and more specifically and more efficiently.
Mm, yeah. So I agree with Paul, to be honest. So, and on that note, I think one major aspect that would make your paper more academic, not more academic, but your voice be more academic is you can improve on the connectivity between your sentences. So like Paul said, the different aspects of one paragraph, right? The example, the analysis, and you need to make sure that these aspects actually connect to each other, and once you get that connection, or in academic writing, we usually refer to that cohesion. I think your academic voice will improve a lot. Yeah.
Definitely. I would say the main thing here is just practice, and that's it.
And maybe one thing that I usually did, or I'm still doing, is to read. I think that by reading a variety of papers and like be exposed to the ways that other writers write their paper, I think that can improve your academic voice also. You get to experiment a lot of different writing voices, and I think that will improve your own writing voice in a way. Yeah.
Definitely. And also, I want to mention that haven't mentioned all that. Be very careful about not sounding too academic, let's say, because there is a very popular problem among the student that um, students read a lot of other like academic research papers, right? And they see that very complex language, and they think if they will try to follow that one and
Mm,
include as many academic words, as many transitions,
mm,
and make their sentences very long, they will sound more academic. And
mm,
that's not often the case. So be careful about that. Don't include too much of the, let's say, transitions, words like however, therefore. Keep a good balance with those. And then sometimes, like shorter sentences can be much better than like very long ones because they are just much more clear, and the reader of your paper can like more easily um, understand all the meaning, all the ideas you have. So yeah, at the same time, like of thinking about all those tips we gave you, be very careful about like the drawbacks as well. So
yeah, I totally agree with Paul. Yeah. So those are our tips in improving your academic voice. So yeah, anyone else? Any other questions that you want to ask us?
maybe while we're waiting, you can mention like the attendance form
Mm,
at the end
yeah.
of the session.
Uh, so the attendance form will be given at the end of the session, but uh, I think that with the low number of participants, if you don't have any other questions, you can feel free to leave. Just give us a message and we will send the link to you there individually. Yeah. So in case you don't have any other questions, feel free to leave if you want to. But we'll be here until around 1. And yeah.
Yeah, but in the meantime, if you have like any other questions, definitely don't hesitate to ask, or like just we can discuss any topic you want about like academic writing or student
So
assignments.
yeah, so have you guys picked your topic for your second essay, your argumentative essay, or are you still on your first essay? Oh, not yet? Okay. So where are you right now? Have you finished your first essay?
Just submitted the thesis statement.
You just submitted the thesis statement. Okay,
Mm.
great, great, great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so most of you are done with your first essay. Okay, good to know, good to know. Huh. Any expectation for the second essay? Like for example, for Zaman, although you have not picked your topic, have you had anything in mind yet? Like maybe some possible options for you to choose from?
We were actually given the topic by the professor. We were actually given the topic and the sources, and like we were given like options, like choose one energy form and argue for or against it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one option. Some professors tend to do that. Um, so yeah, I would recommend still, if you have like different options in terms of like selecting a topic from
Mm,
the list, definitely try to like select the one that you are obviously like most interested in, because
mm,
that's usually your like own motivation or incentive to do the topic.
that's right.
And yeah, and same thing goes with the stance you're doing.
Yeah. And I think that we mentioned this at our first workshop of the semester, which is on topic selection. You want to pick a topic that's arguable, right? You want that because especially when you're doing an argumentative essay, you want something that's arguable, which means you can argue about it, not just maybe a narrative or um, a, a, a paper based on facts only. So you really want to argumentative in that essay. Yeah. So like Paul said, pick the one that you're most interested in, as well as one that's the most arguable, I would say.
Yeah. And like speaking about our previous workshops, I'm gonna send a link to our YouTube channel, which is like PAW program, and we upload all the um, sessions that we held before to that channel. So if you miss or just want to check out the recording of the workshop or this like Q&A sessions, you can just go to our YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe and press the like button there, so
Yeah.
it becomes much more popular, because we try as much as possible to help you guys and all of the students here. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, how to write a decent annotation. Okay. Um, may I ask, this is for your ARL assignment, right? So I think I think that one aspect of that is going to be mentioned at Paul's workshop next week, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, the credibility section, and also I think that what makes a great annotation is in your summary also. um, you really want to capture the essence of the sources that you're annotating. Um, you really want to get through all the points, but not being too long. Yeah. So summary, but with conciseness. Um, and any other tips, Paul, for someone here?
Yeah, for like the annotation, I would say that most importantly is for you to follow all the aspects of the crab test, right? And most importantly, I think the authority and the relevance of that source. And remember that you not only need to find the information about like the authority, for example, what is the author name and where did he study, what university he went to, or like what other research papers does he have. Not only that, but you need to state by yourself why is this information relevant, or why you think this information is credible for your specific case and for your specific paper. And as long as you do that for like every part of the crab test, then your annotation becomes very good, because you are listing the information and then you are connecting it to your paper and like again like analyzing the information.
Yeah, especially that last section where you relate that, where you state how does it relate to the topic that you're writing about. I think that's a really important aspect, to be honest, because you don't want to put a source there that has basically no connection to
Hmm.
what you're writing about, right? So you definitely need to relate things a bit there. Um, so with all those aspects combined, you would have a decent annotation, like you said. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, with but also don't forget, maybe don't be too um and careful with your and be careful with your reference. So cite that in a correct way, right? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. And as Ming mentioned before, the summary part is very important. And if you do a very good summary in your annotation, then like at the end of the whole ARL where you do a synthesis paragraph and like synthesize all of your sources, just looking back at the summaries of your like annotation and looking at those main ideas of the paragraphs, you can pretty easily and simply connect them and link them to each other by just looking at that part. So just if you write a decent good annotation um, at the very beginning, it will just help you a lot further down the whole like paper.
Mm, yeah, I agree. Sorry everyone about that. Somehow my phone's connected with my laptop, so the sound rang on my laptop. But you guys can definitely join Paul's workshop next week to find out the ways to evaluate your sources, and I think that's really useful when writing the ARL, because
Yeah.
there's a whole section about that in the ARL, and Paul's workshop will definitely be helpful in terms of that. Yeah.
Hmm. And you are not like only doing ARL during your first semester, doing like ART class. You will the ARL will be a part of your AC2 paper and AC2 assignment. So it will definitely be very helpful in future as well, even if you've already like finished the ARL this semester.
So maybe for the ARL in your ART class, you get to do that in, I guess, a month or more than a month. But when you advance into AC2, your ARL actually, the time for you to do your ARL actually shrinks. You have to do it in a week or so to submit the assignment. So I think that by attending Paul's session, it really helps you set a solid foundation for the future. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thank you so much for the questions. Definitely Zaman and Siluni and Jyothna. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to discuss or ask? Definitely don't hesitate.
Yeah, I need to submit attendance to my professor.
Okay. Uh, you you want to submit your attendance to your professor, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So
we usually get an attendance Google form to fill.
yeah, sure. So if you don't have any other question, I will send you a link to the attendance form, and you can and if you want to show that to your professor, you can submit it, and then how do I say it? And then take a screenshot, I guess. Yeah. I send it to you. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Great. So yeah, thank you, Siluni, for coming and asking your questions. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much, and definitely
yeah,
consider
thank
like
you for
joining.
your help too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely consider coming to our PAW sessions, individual ones,
Yeah.
because those are very helpful, and we can just look at your specific particular case and discuss everything. Okay, I got a private message from Josna about like sending the attendance form as well. So Ming, can you
Okay,
please
sure. Yeah, I can
do
do that.
that as well?
Zaman, do you need the attendance form as well? Okay. I'm gonna send it to you. Great. So thank you all for coming. Yeah, we will be here until one if you still have any further questions, but yeah, feel free
Yeah.
to once you finish. So I'm gonna pause the recording a little bit. Um,
Silani just asked a question about selecting sources for like finding sources for your ARL assignment. Uh, she just started the like rough draft for the assignment, and it's tough to find the proper sources for her particular topic.
okay, okay. Um, would you mind telling us a little bit about your topic? Like,
Mm,
just what is it about?
yeah, I was trying to write about gender identity and gender dysphoria because it's something I'm kind of interested, curious about, like what are the actual reasons and violence, like why does it actually happen?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I mean, two birds, one stone. I'm interested. Did to complete the topic, complete the assignment as well. So doing the research, yeah. So I was trying to look for uh, sources, and Google Scholar, most of them are locked, and I can only read the abstract. And then when I tried Taylor and Francis, again, most of them were not actually regarding the titles were pretty long, and I didn't really think they were related to what I wanted to write about.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the ones I did find about were really long, like 60, 100 pages. I can't really go through 100 pages to write the annotation.
Mm.
So yeah, I've been having a hard time finding a source.
So for the source that has 60 like the 100 pages, I would recommend you to find like use like press control F to find the words or to find the keywords and the section that you want to really focus on, and maybe you can taking some you can just focus on that section instead of the whole paper, because I mean 100 pages is a lot, right? And you
Yeah.
cannot just read everything from top to bottom, especially if some of the information is irrelevant to what you're writing about.
Yes. Yeah, I will try that, but then I have to find six sources and annotate all six of them, and I'm only found three. And I just can't find other sources that are related to the topic, and maybe I should change topic, I guess.
Hmm. I mean, three is already a decent amount. If you were able to find three, I think you can still find the other ones. Maybe the other option you can try is the sources that you've already found. You can maybe look for the references at those sources
Yeah,
and the
Oh,
citations from those sources, and look through some of the like the ones they are referencing, and
definitely.
maybe yeah, maybe those will be fit to your assignment.
Yeah,
uh,
definitely. Yeah, that's something I would recommend also. Uh,
mm,
especially if your topic is on Wikipedia, you can do the same thing. Don't use directly from Wikipedia, but like scroll down to the reference source, to the reference section, and go from there. Yeah.
oh,
Um,
okay, yeah, I'll try that.
mm,
Thank you.
Definitely, no problem. But yeah, in terms of like switching the whole topic, I would say that's will be your like very last final option. So
Okay.
don't rush these things and just change the whole topic. Um, if you like can do anything and you tried a lot of things, then only try to do so. But yeah, definitely don't try doing that as soon as possible.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, and we have only 10 more minutes here, so anything else you want to ask or discuss? We can talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you for coming, Zaman. Feel free to leave if you want to. No worries.
Yes, thank you so much. Good luck with your assignments.
Yeah. So the next session will be the same time slot like today, right, Paul?
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
The announcement will be later on POTI, so
Yeah.
you
So
shouldn't miss that.
so keep an eye out for that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you very much again for coming. Yeah, and also on our YouTube channel, we have the recordings of the previous Q&A sessions, so you can definitely check those out because, as I mentioned before, there were a lot more students there, around like 20 or 30 people, so there were a lot of different various questions. So if you check them out, maybe you like find very interesting and helpful answers there as well.
Yeah, and we put their timestamp so you can easily identify um the questions that you need. So you
Yeah.
don't necessarily really like watch the whole video from top to bottom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Simone.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very
Bye.
much for coming. Bye bye.